Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our today's webinar with the great topic 20 good reasons for a product configurator. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Felix Schulte. I'm working as a business strategy manager at Cardinas, and I'm very happy that we today also stream for the first time on LinkedIn as well. Great that you're with us here, and Wolfgang will, after my short introduction, tell you the 20 good reasons for the product configurators. If you have any questions, then please type in them in the comment section or directly on LinkedIn. So far from me, I'd like to introduce our host today, Wolfgang Nagel. Thank you, Wolfgang.
Thank you, Felix. And of course, we are all COVID negative here, so no problem. And of course, you are at home, you are safe anyway. So yeah, 20 good reasons for product configurator, and we don't have too much time, so we should really start. And yeah, just a few examples here. We could make a configurator. Yeah, you can make a configurator for each and every product, okay? So maybe we have here a desk, for example, or on the other side, we have here an electronical product. So you can make product configurators for furniture, for mechanical objects, for electrical products. So really for, yeah, I'm always very happy if I see the ideas of our customers, and I thought, wow, oh yeah, that's also a good idea to make a product configurator. And if you now think about making a product configurator, I hope that those 20 reasons make it easier for you also to implement a product configurator. But let's start. In general, we will have free profiteers who will have benefits out of this configurator. And yeah, the first one, wrong side. The first one will be, of course, your customer. Because yeah, of course, you will do it for him. He will profit. He will easier find his product. So of course, you do it first, of course, for your customer. The second thing is, you will do it for your marketing and sales department. And they will have so much fun with it because they can use it internally. They can use it for marketing. For example, the customer can find his solution on his own, so the sales guy can really concentrate maybe in negotiating the offer. So really great tool for marketing and sales. And the third profiteer is always a little bit underestimated, but so important. We talk here about your engineering department, because these are the guys who need to prepare everything. They develop the project. They make all the technical stuff. And often they have to do things, for example, to make documentation of the products. That can be really done, yeah, just with a product configurator. And yeah, so these are the three departments that can really profit. And every time with the 20 reasons, we will also mark this with the symbols, so you can now find out this reason is really specific for this group important. So okay, let's start with the first thing. And yeah, the first thing is, of course, everybody is looking for individual solution. Maybe sometimes you always also sit on Sunday evening on your computer and you just have fun with a car configurator. And in general, all the people are looking for individual solutions. They are not looking for something standard. They have individual problems, and they want to fix these individual problems with individual solutions. So if you now offer individual solutions, great, really great, because this shows your customer is important for you. But we have here just an example of Pepperl and Fuchs, and they showed very interesting figures. So they had a configurator, and they had just 2 languages with 5,800 products. This leaded up to 400,000 variations. 400,000 variations. So just imagine you now have a catalog with 400,000 products. So it's really hard to find now the real solution for that. So on the one side, you have option one is now you make a product configurator where you really guide him through to the right solution, and he doesn't even know that there are 400,000 variations in the background. Or you give him maybe such a big print catalog and say, I offer individual solution. Just here is my catalog, 400,000 products, feel free to select one. So it's very, very hard to select an individual solution. So this is really a great advantage for the customers, a configurator, great advantage. Then the second thing is, of course, for sales and marketing people. This is a great advantage because they don't need to know 400,000 variations. They just have this tool also for their internal usage. And our blue group, of course, the technicians, they would have to provide 400,000 data sheets, for example. They would have to provide the data for the catalog. So really, if you offer individual solutions, and you should offer individual solutions, then the product configurator really can help you to have this huge amount of variations in a good way structured for your customers, but also for your internal usage. So this was just the first advantage. Felix already says, okay, I need to hurry up a little bit, so let's move on to the second one. That's a very important one. It's that you have managed your data on a central point, because you will have some media. You will have maybe your website, you will have a catalog, might have an app, you will have different platforms. Maybe you have a print catalog, maybe you have PDFs on your website. And just imagine you make one change or you make an additional product, you would have to maintain all those channels individually. And the thing is, it costs a lot of time. Maybe you make mistakes. I mean, we are all humans, mistakes can happen. So if you now have really all the knowledge in this central point, and then you update here in the center point everything, then all the media already updates itself in this moment. And there, of course, it's a great service for the customers because they always have the newest data available. So if you have a great idea in your engineering department, and then you just click and it's already available on the market. Also, for sales and marketing, they always have, maybe your marketing, they don't have to update their website anymore because you have dynamic links behind there. Or your sales guy is just driving to the customer and he doesn't even know that something in the background changes, that the new product has another price, has another variation. So he can focus on selling. And the third thing, always the technicians, because they would have to maintain. Just have a look at your company. Is there any department that creates documentation? Is there any department that provides data for the customer? Is there such a department then? Because then, congratulations, you have so much potential to win internal time. Okay. Then let's move on to the third reason. And this is just from my experience. It's just short training period for new employees. And some of you maybe know my story. I was also customer at Cadinas on my own, and I sold conveyors. And conveyors, I had no idea of conveyors. I never heard about it. Okay, I was a mechanical engineer, but I never heard about conveyors. And I now had to sell this. And there have been sales guys with 30-year experience, and they told me, the length of a conveyor and the width, it has to be a combination out of it and the engine. So there is a lot of know-how you need to know. I had no know-how, but what I had was a configurator. Because by the configurator, I was a new sales guy. I just had to learn how to work with the configurator. I did not have to learn how the physics are in a conveyor, what does work and what does not work. I just was ready to go after 2 days of training with the configurator. And that's huge. That's really huge, because now you can really have sales guys who maybe come from a completely other area, and you can gift them the tool to have success immediately. So here, for example, is a very complex configurator here we are in the shading industry, very complex configurator. And also there we made the experience. You don't have to be an expert in the shading technology. You just have to be able to work with the configurator. So who profits really here? Of course, the sales and marketing guys, especially the sales guys. They don't need to learn all that stuff. They just need to work with the configurator. And then again, the technicians, of course, it's often a configurator is also an internal tool. So it's just an internal tool where, they work internally and then make calculations internally. So it's also possible. So third great thing.
Wolfgang, if I may ask one question, we have our first question here, and it's about my products are pretty complex, so I don't know if my customers will use this tool.
Yeah. So did I get this right? Your products are quite complex. Okay. Yeah. Then, especially when you have a very complex product, a configurator really makes sense. And then a configurator, even if the product is very complex, we can make it very easy to use. So even if it's very complex, we can work with pictures to make it very easy to make the selection of the customer so that he really just has 2 options or 3 options and he's really guided through. And so especially if you say you have a complex product, then you need to really give him something that deletes a little bit the complexity, that takes the complexity out of it, that makes it easy, because then you have a big advantage against your competition, because I guess your competition, the product of them will also be complex, and if you make it easy to work with it, then you have a very good advantage against your competition. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the fourth advantage is that you can advise, you make consulting despite the fact we have social distancing. So we all know some things are at the moment forbidden. Unfortunately, no nightclubs, but also no exhibitions and no trade shows. So it's not allowed at the moment. Hopefully it will be allowed soon, but it's not allowed at the moment to meet people in person. So with a digital tool, you can also by remote, you can really give them a tool, you can show them the tool, but just by remote. So this is why we are here in the green section, is everything that he has provided by Cadinas, all those digital stuff. So even if we talk about social distancing, a digital tool knows no virus and everybody can use it. And of course, we all hope that that this all comes back. And then it's always a combination. It's always a combination. Even if you are on a trade show, you can use the configurator to make just the trade show more interactive. So it's always a combination of the online and the offline stuff. So who profits? Of course, the customer profits a lot because he can work with you. Although he can't really meet you, so he gets great consulting, although you can't really visit him. The second thing is your sales department, they can have contact with customers with this tool. And so great thing for these 2 groups. The fifth advantage is that you make automated up and cross-selling. So maybe this is a very good example. So they make here those kind of oven systems, and they also offer the piping. And the interesting thing is they make much more revenue with the piping than with the actual oven systems. So in a configurator, you can really, you will notice from Amazon, you can just guide him through. So now you selected the oven, next step is piping, next step is maintenance, next type is installation. So there is no question if he selects it or not. It's just in the system, step by step. He can't get out of it. So it's really automatically up and cross-selling. Very, very good example. So who profits? Of course, the salespeople, because they make more revenue. They have a bigger basket where the customer has just more revenue in his shopping basket. Good. Talking about customers, of course, the customer always a little bit in the focus of such a configurator. And the great thing is really he can do now, he can service himself. So he now gets a great tool where he can find his solution on his own. And this is really amazing, because maybe you are a sales guy and you are just sleeping and you don't even recognize that somebody is consulting himself. Maybe you are at home, maybe you are on vacation. The system runs 24/7 all around the world. The customers service themselves and you are not required anymore. You just have a look at the statistics, you just call them, okay, you just make the offers, you just close the deals, because all the consulting stuff, all the product selection stuff is automatically done by this tool. And if you now maybe ask yourself, but why should he do that? Two things about that. I know especially technicians, and I'm a technician on my own, maybe I'm an exception, they are quite shy. Even if they need to phone somebody for some consulting, it's not everybody engineer, architect wants to do that. So they want to do it on their own. And the second thing, again, if you think about the car configurator, it is fun. It is great fun. And so this is why this works. Good. Of course, if you have a new configurator, it's very important that you give him a manual, that he learns interactively how to use it. So this is why, we make, of course, the groups. So who profits? Of course, the customer. He can every time make configurations when he has time, and he has not to look at about any office hours. Then sales and marketing, of course, because I'm sleeping, but still the business is going on. And so now you introduce a great tool to your customer, you hand it over to him, and please never hand over a new tool without giving him a manual. And we really suggest here a so-called how-to video. So really a short video, 2-3 minutes, where you just explain what are the buttons, some examples, how he can find his solutions. And the great thing, if you do it by video, you can just make an automatically training session out of it. You can spread it on LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere, so that you have now the tool. The next step is to spread this tool to as much people as possible, and then you need to explain it. So this is why a video is really a great thing to publish such a tool. And who profits of such a video? Of course, the customer, because he doesn't really need to read any big manual. Then he sees some example. Also, the sales guys, the marketing guys, they don't have to explain it every time the same way. And that's the advantage of a video. So we are moving on to the 7th advantage. And we have a lot of salespeople today in this call. So it's about higher sales conversion. And especially we are now talking here about a CAD configurator. So this configurator provides planning data such as 2D, 3D planning data or electrical planning data. And the great thing is, if you have now a configurator who also is able to export in the end planning data, is that you see if you are now in the CAD planning, you will directly be then afterwards in the bill of material, in the ERP, and you will be bought. And the insane number is 82%. 82% of all products used in planning in a CAD system are bought in the end. Think about it, 8 out of 10. And I can tell you, even if it was just 10%, it would be amazing. Think about your conversion rates in online marketing. This is a real game changer, 82%. And we all want to have high conversion rates. There is no higher conversion rate I know than from CAD data to making the order. The next thing is connection with production. Of course, in the end, if you configure something, in the end, it's a digital tool. In the end, he wants to have something physically. And now, such a configurator can really export different things. He can export PDFs. He can export really planning data already, and also manufacturing data. Maybe you think about your company. There might be a department that is just their 100% job is just providing manufacturing data for the shop floor. And this departments, they will exist of course in future, but you can make it much more easier, because if you just show him what the customer already configured, and this is the start, he can the point he can really start at developing now the manufacturing informations. So that's a really important thing, because the customer configures the product, and now this information, what he configured, needs to be transported to the shop floor. Interactive 3D preview. We already had one interactive 3D preview at the beginning, and I just show you another one. And there are so much advantage in having an interactive 3D preview, because of course we can really it's easier for us to consume a picture than information. It's so much easier. Then you can, especially if you have a configurator, you can now have a look if this, what I configured, if this is really what I configured. So it's really to check if it's okay for me, really an optical check. And of course, you can do a lot of insane, crazy marketing stuff with a 3D visualization. So you should have 3D visualizations. And we made here a survey, and we asked 120,000 engineers and architects, do you want to have a 3D preview? And here you can see that, okay, if we really or if we just count it together, then my math is not so good, Felix. I think over 90% say it's important for them. And 90% say it's important to have a 3D visualization. I mean, okay, if you don't have it, congratulations, you have a lot of potential, because 9 out of 10, are not satisfied at the moment, maybe, and it's quite easy to create a 3D visualization. So, who profits? Of course, the customer, because he wants to see. I want to see what I get. I want to see what I get. I want to check what I configured. And also you can make a lot of marketing materials. Just another thing, if you maybe construct a great machinery, you need to have documentation for the machinery. You can't deliver a machine nowadays without any documentation. So how can you document this? And here are pictures required. 3D pictures, 2D pictures are required. So you need that stuff, and the engineer needs that stuff. The second thing is, of course, it's much easier for the sales guys and for the marketing guys to work with 3D pictures. As I said, picture much a more direct way into the head of the customer. And so that's the thing. Talking about pictures, now I'm very excited if this works, because now we talk about augmented reality. Augmented reality, we just try to do it live here. And augmented reality is really an absolutely amazing tool nowadays. And I just share here my iPhone. So everything you need is basically an iPhone or any smartphone. Let's say any smartphone, it's easier. And now you see here my screen. I just make it a little bit bigger for you. And okay, what is augmented reality? So here you see now my phone. The great thing is now you can have the configurator here now directly on your phone. We already had this. And maybe now I feel, after 15 minutes, I feel a little bit tired. I want to select now a bench where I can sit down a little bit. Felix is sitting all the time in the background. So basically, okay, we have here now this bench. And we can have a look at it in 2D, in 3D, we can zoom in, we can cut in even. So, okay, we can have a look at it, but it's not augmented reality. Augmented reality is what is coming up right now. So I just click here, augmented reality. And then what happens is, now you will see a little bit our studio here. So now I have the object here, and now I can drop this object. I just try to do it here. Thank you. So now I just have this object right here. So I hope you can see it. Yeah. So wood on wood is maybe not so good, so easy to see, but now you can really, I have the object here, I can turn it, I can make it bigger, I can now maybe imagine, okay, I have so much space here, from here to here. This is the space I have. So maybe the space is exactly right, or I say, no, the bench is a little bit too big or too little, and then we can just jump back in the configurator and now, make the length here a little bit smaller. Or I can say, I can make different variations. I can here different length configurations. So I have already some pre-selection. The pre-selection is important because you need to configure, manufacture it in the end. So now I have here another variation, so I can really do the digital planning. Okay, now I have here a completely different variation, and the thing is, now you see here 100%, and 100% it's really precise. So this is really real size, and so you could really, maybe you have a mechanical thing. I just go here to any other component manufacturer. I like robot units, because this was the company I worked for. I just make here any conveyor system. And this is really something I did as a sales guy. I was in the meeting with a customer, and he asked me, I need a conveyor for this machine here. I need a conveyor for this machine. And what I did then was, I just said, okay, let's try. What kind of conveyor fits in this machine here? And so I just did exactly what I did here. So I created augmented reality, and maybe it's always a little bit depending on the light. So I just took here this conveyor, made it on 100%, and I said, okay, it fits or it doesn't fit. And this is how we do it. And then, of course, the customer was delighted because he said, okay, exactly what I need, just send me the offer. And this is the power of augmented reality. So let's talk about the 3 advantages of augmented reality. The first advantage is it is great for marketing. It is an amazing marketing tool. If you have something like this on your booth on the trade show, what I always say, if you want to get somebody on your booth on a trade show, everything you need to say, hey, you want to see something cool? Yes. Okay, I show you something cool, and then you already got him. Then you get his contact data and you got him. So it's a great marketing tool. The second thing is it's really a tool to allow you digital planning. Because I had this example, as I said, okay, need to close it now. So I had this example. You can really give the engineer also this tool. He can say, okay, maybe I'm not with you on the shop floor. You can use this tool. You as an engineer, you as a customer can also use this tool completely for free. So you can give him this tool, and then you get also the information who did it. So first thing, great marketing. Second, a real digital tool for digital planning. And the third thing is you can now combine it with a lot of interesting things. So I have here, for example, a print catalog. So this is a print catalog of a manufacturer of us. And it's always important to have print catalogs. It will never die to have something physical. And what I will do now is just share my phone. So maybe I will just appear not more here in the studio. So okay, I just show you here now with my, sorry guys, I need to share my phone again. Okay guys, life is live. We need to synchronize again. Any questions so far, Felix?
Not really, but what I would like to know is it complex to provide such an AR tool? So does it require lots of effort providing the AR feature to my potential customers and prospects?
Felix, yes, it is a lot of effort, unless you work with us. Just kidding. It is a lot of effort, of course, but if you have already this, you remember the single source of truth, so you have everything, the know-how in the middle, and so for Cadinas, augmented reality is quite easy because we have the technology. So yeah, basically it is hard, but if you have the models with Cadinas, then it's quite easy. So let's go back now. I share again here my phone, and I just take now my mobile. So you see our screen here, and okay, we have this print catalog with us here, and yeah, maybe you have here some introduction, and maybe you also have here some product informations. And what you can now do is to add here a QR code, and this QR code now opens again. 3D Find It. So again, this opens the configurator. We just wait for it. So this again opens the configurator. And now I can have a look in 3D about this product. Okay, I can check, okay, how does it look like? I can cut in, I can have all the details. And then I can literally, if I click augmented reality again, I can literally place now this product here again next to my datasheet. Okay, so now I have the datasheet in print with me, and now I have the real product that I can really have in real size. Then I can go again to the shop floor and say, okay, is it right? Is it not right? So the bottom line is, have a great connection of augmented reality with your offline tools. So I always get asked, yeah, Wolfgang, digitalization, nice, but what do I do with all my on-premise stuff, with all my print stuff? Keep it, but just use the advantages of both sides. So, okay, that's enough for augmented reality today. So who profits? Of course, customers profit a lot. They can just they don't need any app for this, by the way. They can really place it before them, and they can really have a look at it, and they have fun with it. It's amazing. And of course, sales and marketing. If you can introduce such a great tool to your customers, if you can really, they say, wow, this company is, they are magicians. So this is really something nice as a sales rep to show to the customers. So that's augmented reality. And yeah, of course, with augmented reality, you can do a lot of stuff, especially on social media. I have just here an example of a video which was posted on LinkedIn, I think, and then you just see what the people are, what they are shouting out. Wow, that's amazing! How did you do that? And then the company said, yeah, we offer this for free, and so on. So augmented reality is really a great thing to have it on all those channels, and not only to say we make here a little bit marketing. Also, if you give this tool to your customers, they will post it on your own. So your marketing department has to do no posting. The customers will post it. And then the people will ask, how did you do that? Who is this? Which manufacturer? So this gets a great dynamic, all that stuff that works so great on social media. Especially for TikTok. For TikTok, this is amazing. Customers, of course, they profit out of it. They have fun with it. It's really a fun tool, but it's not only fun. Think about the example with the digital planning. And of course, sales and marketing, a great tool. You have something. It's always important that you have content on these channels, and there is no better content than interactive content, new content like this. Yeah. So the 12th thing, very important, is reduce time to market. For example, in this case, this company, they were already quite good. So sometimes an engineer requested planning data, and it took 24 hours. And 24 hours, it's okay. It's really okay. But nowadays, everything's so quick. Everybody needs it immediately. So it's just a great advantage against your competition if you can deliver it quicker. And now they can deliver the data just in 24 seconds. And I mean, we're talking here about an electronical part. We have here in Augsburg, we have MAN. They make engines for ships. Okay, so ship engine. I mean, it's higher than a building sometime, and they needed. I think they required about 2 weeks to deliver any kind of planning data for the ship manufacturers. 2 weeks. Nowadays, it's 5 minutes. So if you now say, okay, my competition takes 2 weeks, maybe I have a change in the meantime, or versus 5 minutes. This is something your customers need, because they also have stress, they have deadlines, and if you now say it takes 2 weeks or it just takes 24 hours, nowadays I'm not a fan of this, but it's reality. The time is quicker, and you need to deliver quicker nowadays. Okay, so profits, of course, the customer, he gets data much quicker because he also has deadline he needs to meet. And the second thing, sales and marketing, of course, that's great figures. That's a great tool you can offer, and you can really help your customers by providing data quicker. And engineering, of course, never forget about the engineering department, because these are the unlucky guys often who need to prepare data. Maybe, the guys who needed to create data for a ship engine, they do it for 2 weeks. They do it, and they don't even know if it's bought in the end. So it's really unpaid time. Customer data tracking, and this is the real gold. This is the real benefit of a configurator, is the data. Maybe you heard already, data, this is the new currency of the future. That's the most important thing, big data. And just imagine what this would mean to you, to know what did he configure, who did it, first name, second name, email, phone number, who did it and who downloaded what, or maybe where did he quit, what selection did he do, and all that stuff can be tracked. And of course, we are here in Europe. We have GDPR. We have rules here, and everything is GDPR conform. So you can really, you can phone them up literally. So you can say, Mr. Müller, I saw that you configured this and this product. Do you have any question, or you need an offer, or shall I come to you, or let's have a meeting to consult you? And I did over 2,000 of those phone calls, and it's amazing, because it is no cold calling. It's no cold calling, because if he had no interest, he would not do it. Maybe the customers in the business to customer area, maybe they do it just for fun. But in industry, nobody configures in industry something without any project. So you can be sure, whenever you call somebody or write them an email, there is a project, there is a need for your product. So great thing, of course, for marketing and sales. Cold calling is over. Cold calling is over. And I would even mention here the customers. I would even mention the customers, because they get now a phone call right in this moment when they have the question. Sometimes you get maybe asked and they say, no, I don't need this product. But here you can really make sure he needs it. If he would not need it, he would not do it. 14, very advanced, is of course, if you are a digital company, you can really make an automation of processes. So maybe the customer does the configuration. Now the engineering already gets the data for his engineering, for his manufacturing data. Then the manufacturing department hopefully gets this data with an automatical process. Then the administration again gets feedback from the manufacturing, okay, so to make a calculation, to make the offer, and then the sales, it could be a web shop, so the customer now gets the real price based on the administration configuration and based on the manufacturing information. So this is really something very advanced, I know, but we need to go there. We are here in Central Europe. Maybe you are situated in Japan or in USA. We are here high-cost countries. We can't do it the same like cheap countries, because then this is our only way how we can exist, to make it smarter and to make automatical processes. Okay, so really profit, of course, for the sales and marketing, and especially for the engineering department, if you have automatical processes. Okay, a frequently asked question always is, okay, how much is it? So I'm convinced, how much is it? Where can I sign? And the great thing is, we had already so many benefits, and I think you can already imagine that the return of investment consists of two things. The first thing is internal savings. A lot of internal savings. We had so many examples. And the second thing is you will have more external revenue because you will identify more customers. You are able to deal with more customers in the same time. So this just consists of two things: internal savings, external more revenue. And this is why the return of investment of a configurator is ridiculous. We had one within 2-3 weeks after going live. All the money was again in the house. Of course, bigger configurators, maybe they take half year, maybe they will take 1 year. But then you already make here new money after 1 year. It's profit. And long term, of course, especially internal savings. The people, for example, engineers, they can, instead of preparing any PDFs, you don't get paid this, they can now concentrate in developing new products. So return of investment is really ridiculous here. So who profits? Of course, the whole company. I would say here really the whole company, especially the CEO. A very interesting topic is also testing the market with prototypes. So you are an innovative company, I guess, and you will make new products. And maybe sometimes you are not sure if this new product, if there is a need on the market. But you can now, what you could do is test this configuration just in the configurator. So you don't manufacture it now physically and offer it. First, you just add it to the configurator and have a look. Okay, how often is it configured? Is there a need for this? And just after you see, okay, there is a need on the market, then you make it happen to manufacture it. And then now the great thing is you say now, okay, I see the need, now I'm able to manufacture it. Now you have the data of the guys who configured it, and you can just make contact with them. Hey, I saw you configured it, now I can deliver. So you can already make sure who you can now deliver it. So really one of the most underestimated things talking about a configurator is to test the market. Or a completely other example is you can raise prices. For example, if you have one product that is configured very often, this shows that this is a very important product for the market. Then you are able to raise the price because it is requested that often. For example, very cool thing, of course, for the customers because they can already work digital with new developments. For your sales and marketing, you can really test new things. You can always immediately show them new solutions, and then you have the database where you know, okay, I just can sell to them. And the manufacturing, of course, sometimes they are a little bit cut off of the market. Sometimes they sit a little bit in the dark and they are cut off the customers. But now they have ideas. Okay, let's test it on the market, and that's really great things for this guys too. Okay. Next thing, talking about international sales. Of course, we have here very interesting statistics that it's about the skills, the English skills of technicians, and you really see not everybody can really speak English, so you should really offer this product configurator in native languages. And it's so easy to make it multiple language because you just get a sheet, you need to fill in the different languages, and everything is updated. So just remember the circle you have in the center, you have the information, and then it goes to all channels. So just by filling in an Excel sheet that will be imported, you have all those channels updated: the website, the PDF, the documentation, the catalog. How would you do this without a configurator? And we have companies, they don't have any company maybe in Spain, but they just translate the configurator now in Spain, and suddenly they have requests from this country. They don't even have anybody who is speaking Spanish. Somehow you will need somebody maybe internally, but it's very easy to go to new markets just by the native language, because this really shows just 4% can speak English really on a good level. Okay, so it's great, of course, for the customers because they get their native language. And for sales and marketing, yes, you can now get access to new markets just by translating it, just by making then it visible in those countries. And the engineers, they can just work in their native language. They don't have to really think about it because the translation is then done in the configurator. Okay, another thing about if you sell internationally, maybe in different language countries, you need to deliver different products. For example, just let's think about electricity. In USA, the electricity completely different than in Europe. So if a configurator now can make sure if he comes from USA that he gets different electrical plugs than the European customer, of course, because it needs to work in the end. And we could do this, for example, by IP tracking. So really the configurator recognizes, okay, he comes from USA, so now I show the USA plugs. He comes from Austria, now I show the Austrian plugs. Or maybe there are some country-specific regulations that you maybe say, okay, in this country, the building can't be that high, so this product needs to be a little bit different, maybe, so the chimney, for example. Yeah, so you have different countries, you have different rules, but the customer always needs to be sure that what he configures, that it really meets the requirements in his country. So great, of course, for the okay, the smiley is incomplete, however. So great for the customer. Yeah, stand out from the competition. Stand out from the competition is so important because nowadays you get more and more competition, and with a product configurator you have something unique. You have something that really is serving the customer. He has fun with it, he saves time, he has a great tool that really he can profit the whole day. So this is really a great thing for your customers. Of course, you stick out of the crowd, you deliver something that your competition can't deliver. And sales and marketing, great, of course. If your customers are delighted, if they are happy, then you will make revenue with them. Yeah, and the last slide, we have here again a slide from our survey, and here you see that more or less a configurator is required. For example, we have here, I really need some glasses, Felix, I really need some glasses. Just 4% want to have an online chat, just 5% want to have video content. So that's all interesting stuff. So online chat, video content, maybe web shop, for example here, purchase online. So, but this is all nothing if you compare it with having configurations. So having availability to configure and search for product, because simple and easy to use website is one thing, and the third thing is already to have configuration. So this is 70%, this is 49%. So this really shows what the engineers and what the users are looking for. And again, please, if you are really advanced company, do everything, because this really shows then this is the best experience on the website in the end. So the bottom line is, a configurator is required. This shows just this bar and also the things how we people nowadays work. We have individual problems, we want to have individual solutions. And those 128,000 people said that. So who profits? Customers, of course, and marketing and sales. Because if you have a homepage who has all those elements, then you can really make sure to have a good conversion then on the website. That's it. 20 reasons. I hope, it was, we are on time in the end. And maybe now you think your product as a product configurator. And we already said at the beginning, it makes sense for most of the product. When you have a physical product, no matter if you come from mechanical side, from architecture side, from electrical side, or if you do something completely individual. I had one time, I had an interesting case. He does a noodle, you know, spaghetti, it's really a noodle configurator. So now the customer can select, okay, the shape of the noodle, and then the waiter more or less by augmented reality tells him, okay, you want to have this noodle or this noodle. Okay, here it's insane. So maybe you don't deliver noodles, maybe you deliver something mechanical, architecture, or electrical. Then you can just make contact with us. So this is my direct email. You can just email me, and we are very open also to make a free demo and just have a look if it makes sense for you. So, okay, thank you for your attention. And Felix, do we have any other questions?
Yes, Wolfgang. Thank you very much. And I completely forgot to ask you a question that appeared while you were presenting the QR codes.
Yeah.
And the question is it possible to track these QR codes?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you for this hint. So we had this example here. You remember we had here this this catalog with the QR code inside, and the crazy thing is, yes, you can track it. So let's just imagine he is really looking for a product, and then he scans it off. You can track it. Now you have the first name, second name, the real name of the guy who just opened your catalog and scanned it. So that's a great connection between offline and online products.
Yes, thank you. And I know you like summaries.
Yeah.
So maybe you can summarize another question appeared. But I think you already answered them somehow. The question is, what are the costs and how long does it take to develop one? In this case, I think it's the product configurator as a whole thing meant.
Okay, so the costs. I know, guys, you always want to have figures. So it starts more or less, really small things, about $10,000 up to $200,000, $500,000. So somewhere between we will find your solution. If you say, okay, I don't have that much budget, maybe between 10 to 50,000, then maybe it makes sense just to start with a lower quality in visualization, or we start with just the top sellers. It's really we can also start with a pilot project. So that's the cost, I would say, between beginning at 10,000 up to limitless, I would really say, but the most configurators are in this range. Between 10,000 and 150,000, you can have really a great solution with this. And the second thing was, how long does it take? It takes about, also depending on the size, of course, but from 4 weeks to a half year, the very big ones.
Thank you so much.
Great.
No questions anymore so far.
Great.
Of course, you have also the opportunity to write us directly on LinkedIn or via email, or you can call us.
You can call us, yeah.
Old
It's not you can also write a postcard.
A postcard, yes, exactly.
But so thank you for your attention. Really, I hope you also had some information why. And I would have made 30, 40 advantages. It's insane. And just think about the free profiteers. It's your customers. It's always about giving your customers value, a great tool. It's about you in the sales and marketing, that you have something your competition has not, and something you can really profit from. I always have this in mind. You are sleeping, you are drinking some beer, you are in the bar having fun, and then some customer is just configuring and making business with you. This is just so great. And the third thing, of course, your technicians. We have so many customers who said, my technicians are doing everything but no developing, because they're just doing some internal stuff. And so if you are now you want to start through, as I said, we can make a direct pilot project. Thank you for your attention, and we will see each other just in another webinar, in another meeting, on LinkedIn, on any other platform. So best regards here from Augsburg, from Cadina's headquarters. Have a nice day and see you.